Hi, Kent. It's William here. You can consider this my final message. I'm not going to keep trying to call you or anything. I'm not going to leave any more voicemails after this. But I just kind of wanted to get a couple of more things out that I think you really need to know. And so ultimately, the only reason why I was even in that park, Southfield Park, in the first place, was because I was homeless dealing with other tickets. And the only reason why I was homeless dealing with other tickets was because of the 3 unrelated rule ticket. The only reason why I was dealing with the 3 unrelated rule tickets was because David was living with me. And the only reason why David was living with me was because he had some issues with you guys. And the only reason why he was having some issues with you guys is because you were having some issues with me earlier. And we keep going backwards in time to a couple of really big events that I'm just never going to let go. And so I may never get my actual statute of limitations on this, but truthfully speaking, I was under the age of 18 and I committed a crime, and you had a duty, a lawful duty under the Colorado Revised Statutes, and I'll get you that if you really need, but you had a duty to not child abuse me, to not put me in harm's way, and you committed a felony. And ever since then, I've never been able to fix that. I didn't get the help I needed to. I was a juvenile. I was under the age of 18. I should have been charged as a juvenile with just that crime before I even got any of my other charges. I was a kid, and that's why they have the adult system at 18 plus and the juvenile system under the age of 18. I committed that crime under the age of 18. I was a juvenile. I should have literally gotten that charge. But no, you child abused me. You neglected me. So now everything's going to be different, from there on forward. Next, obviously, you defame me and discriminate against me, and you think that I'm using David in some sort of pawn. And so you misdiagnose him with bipolar as a result. You think that there's not going to be any recourse there. But we remember very well the way you treated me. And you think you can get away with just believing certain things because of the information you have. But what you got to understand is you're very statistically frauded, and I don't even think you have a choice to get out of it unless you really know what statistics fraud is. But basically, you really screwed us up by not believing in us, not believing us. I was really trying to go to you guys, and of course, you thought I was bipolar and this and that, and that's the thing, statistics fraud. You incorporated previous knowledge of maybe my drug use, like marijuana, which is not true, what you guys know compared to what the greater medical society knows. And that's not a cause for my crimes. That didn't have anything to do with mental illness or me or bipolar. And so ultimately, it was your defamation that led David to go downhill. And the only reason why I have truly in any of these problems, it really got worse. Everything was okay enough with me and getting on my feet, with the homeless shelter there. I remember you paid for the rent, thanks. But truthfully speaking... Goodbye. Perfect. It's a 2-part... I really just need to get this out. Sorry, Dad.
Dad doesn't think he's guilty of not calling the cops when you were a minor, and that's actually a chargeable offense.
I actually read the statute.
He doesn't understand the doctor, people, and duty of care. You have to do something.
Hi, you've reached the voicemail box of Kent Montgomery. Please leave a message.
Okay, sorry. I guess this is going to be like a 2 of 2 message here. I'll try and keep it brief. Definitely no calls after this if you don't want. But what I'm trying to get at here is your defamation of me and your defamation of David and your lack of correct diagnosing with bipolar and your lack of correct diagnosing me with bipolar, I believe had a lot to do with why you didn't believe David was going through what he was going through in your house. And when you kicked him out, you illegally evicted him. This is during the time when he was taking pills with Lawrence. And he ended up in my backyard. So I was literally the first victim in line to deal with your tort. And after that, I had to go ahead and find a new place to support my brother. I was making enough that I paid for his rent for quite some time. So thanks. I think you should probably pay me some of that if you ever wanted to. Because I'm not going to leave my brother on the streets. And so eventually, I had to kick him out of the next place and deal with worse roommates because he wasn't paying rent because of his medical problems that you guys had, I think, a lot to do with. Constantly trying to get him back into a work environment. And that's all you guys push. That's what you pushed tonight. That's what you pushed at the very beginning. That's what anybody's going to always push as a stopgap if they see money hemorrhaging. But the only reason why money's hemorrhaging is because stupid people in our past made really bad legal decisions. And now it's all joint and several. So it's not just the attempting to influence. It's these camping tickets. It's 42 USC for those. You said I made a good decision with the 3 unrelated rule. Well, guess what? We're trying to counter sue for that time. We're still. It's all the same time in the end, and a lot of it I think has a lot to do with when you illegally evicted David and kept pushing him onto me. And in the basement of the 3 unrelated rule, that I was trying to fork him or help him out again. and I couldn't make rent.
A place to stay, and
you asked for a place to. He asked for a place to stay, and you turned him down again. And what do you know? I was $100 short on rent because his unemployment stopped coming through, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't afford to pay for him anymore. So I'm tired of paying for your problems of not dealing with your son, David, let alone me. And I'll help take care of him. He's my bro, but statistically, I think you guys have a lot of misinformation that is gonna someday be corrected about marijuana, about bipolar diagnoses, about criminal psychology, about why people do things.
Leaving the Mormon religion.
And you think that there's no liability when it comes to kicking somebody out, or now it's impossible to tell, And do you know what that impossible to tell looks like? That's called joint and several. Joint and several liability, meaning we're mixing you into everybody else because by the time, we needed help from yours, something else happened. So, goodbye.
I think